what is it? Okay. So entrepreneurship, is it attitude of entrepreneurs? Is it slow growth of entrepreneurs? Is it failure of small businesses? Is it failure of new businesses? So you can find many things within your area of specialization as a group. You come up with a problem, your area. And when you're defining that problem, you answer these are when I refer to 5 questions, these are the ones I mean. I say answer the 5 questions. When you're trying to write a specific problem, try to answer these 5 questions. For example, what is wrong out there? You can say that employee productivity is declining. Okay. Let me copy them and I paste them in another document that you can look at them much better that side. Stop share. Let me put them in a Word document that they're easier to follow. So what I'm going to demonstrate to you is how every group is going to define its research problem. It's just a guideline. It's a guideline. Now you can easily define a research problem. Okay, so let me share again. Please, whoever is in the meeting, make sure to join with both your names. Otherwise, the system will throw you out. Make sure to have joined with both your names if you're in this meeting. You can rename yourself, it's okay. You can rename yourself. Go next to that video and rename yourself. So this is how we're going to define a research problem. I'm going to share with you this document so that you can also in your discussion groups come up with that kind of construction of your research problems.
Yes.
The first question we said is what is wrong out there? Okay, let me share the document so that all of you can have a look at it. Please join the meeting with both your names for the record. That we study happily. Okay, so these are the questions. There are 5. What is wrong out there? What's wrong out there? Maybe you can say an example. What's wrong out there? Employee activity is declining from March, January 2021 to 30 bags in December 2021 to the production. So define a problem, give a source. What has been done to try and rectify the problem, the situation? That is the second question. What has been done to try and rectify the situation? Maybe you can say that salaries, just giving examples, salaries have increased, allowances, and computers provided, staff. Okay, so there's a problem going on, and they have tried to solve it. Has the problem been rectified? We're saying here, no. Because if it is yes, then we don't have to research. But no, employee activity has continued. Decline. What is the probable cause? Why do you think it is going to decline? Probably probably to poor recruitment procedures, since employees are hired based on friendship notifications. So you're building a case. What will happen if the situation continues? So we're saying here, profitability will decline, leading collapse a company. So we said that a research problem is one where a situation is going to exist despite the solutions, and which, if it continues, can lead to a catastrophe. So this is how you answer those questions, depending on your situation and your option and where you have identified that problem. So you have to have evidence. For example, here you can say audit report 21. So where are you getting that information from? Well, whatever such problem all of you are going to write must be existing somewhere, and you have to show where it's coming from. So that's how we come up with a problem, a research problem. We answer those questions. And from those answers, and from these answers, we then come up with what we call a problem statement. And now, if I take everything here in red, down here, at employee productivity, then I say, for example, here I can add now something in, and I say productivity in ABC Limited is declining from that to that. Then I go to the next one. Salaries, now I'm writing what they call a problem statement. Now from those, I'm copying from there, bring them down. Salaries have been increased, allowances given, let's put it in there, given, and computers provided to staff. Now, has the problem been rectified? No. So I'm saying, but, so there's a, yeah, we're saying that employee productivity has continued to decline. I'm copying the third answer. And here to come as, at employee productivity has continued to decline. So what's the probable cause? They say this is, then I bring this statement here. This is, bring that statement. This is probably due to poor, see? What will happen if it continues? See that if the situation continues, profitability decline. So what I have put for you here is what we call a problem statement. And this problem statement is everything you see in red. In red, I have picked from the answers to the 5 questions. From these answers, the 5 questions, I have constructed a problem statement. Okay, so I call this my problem. This is my problem statement. So this is what each of you is going to come up with. Each group is going to come up with a problem statement, depending on what you want to research about. Come the problem statement by answering these questions. Okay. Coming back to is the problem. Come to go back to the so please, as we do this class, make sure to join with your names. Join with your real names, or you can change and put your real name. So I'm going to explain to you now the variables, how variables come out of a research problem. Please join with your real names, other system will throw you out. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are variables, because that's also another item that is covered under this same topic, and which I want to talk about. Other items are quite easily understood, except those two that I'm going to talk about, the problem itself and then the variables. The others could be a little bit easier to follow from the notes themselves. So let me stop sharing this, and then I go back to Mwele. Okay, so the next thing I'll talk about are variables. Variables. What's a variable? First of all, we are saying that a variable is a characteristic of the population that is capable of taking on different values. Whenever we're doing research, we have a population and also have characteristics of that very population that we want to research about. For example, our population can be customers and want to study the customer satisfaction. Now, customer satisfaction is a variable. It could be a company, you want to study its profitability. So profitability is a variable. It could be employees, you want to study their productivity. So employee productivity is a variable. So every characteristic of the population that you want to study, or property, or attribute, and can take on different values, becomes variable. And the main variables that I want us to talk about, let me go to the conceptual framework, are, I think I'll do for another conceptual framework here. This one, here. So the conceptual framework, we have variables. We have what called an independent variable. An independent variable is one that leads to a change in other variables, leads to a change in other variables. For example, an example of employee productivity, we say that probable cause would be recruitment procedures. So for us there, recruitment procedures can be an independent variable. The dependent variable is one affected by others. So these arrows affected by other variables. It's dependent. And now in our example there, it is employee productivity. It's one. So the answer to the number one question in defining a problem forms your dependent variable. For example, for us, we say employee productivity is poor. If I'm to show you what we wrote, let me show it to you. So if you are to compare what we have just done here in our Word document, if I'm to define variables, when you see these answers, there's employee productivity here, and then there is recruitment procedures here. So I'm saying that an independent variable causes a change. So probable cause causes a change in others. For example, in my example here, recruitment procedures is independent. Then dependent variable changes because other factors are affecting it. Here, employee productivity is one changing and what is causing it. So employee productivity in my question here is a dependent variable, while recruitment procedures independent. It is one causing a change in other variables. Then we have what we call an intervening variable or mediating variable, a variable through which the independent variable affects the dependent variable. That sometimes it may not be a direct relationship. For example, we said we have recruitment procedure and employee productivity, but in the middle here, there could be, for example, task allocation. That if you allocate that employee productivity, recruitment procedures, that when you recruit workers, you allocate them tasks. So recruitment procedures, task allocation, employee productivity. That you cannot measure employee productivity if you are not allocated tasks. Then we have what we call moderating variables. These ones harmonize the relationships between variables. They affect the relationships between variables. That's why you see a point at those arrows. For example, company policy. Company policy affects all the other variables. Then we have what we call control or extraneous variables. These are variables that affect the dependent variable apart from the other variables like the independent variable. So any other factor that can affect the dependent variable is called a control variable. For example, in my recruitment procedures and employee productivity example, I could say that the nature of work is a control variable, nature of work. That you can recruit someone, allocate them a task well, but their productivity is affected by the nature of work that you have given them. So it is a control, and any other variable, which is not the one that I am studying, becomes a control extraneous variable. So I want to talk about that. Then, how do you state a topic, therefore? A topic is stated by combining the independent and dependent variables. And you will, I think in your work, you will draw conceptual frameworks. So when you are designing a topic, what you'll do, you'll usually get the independent and dependent variables and state a topic. Like, let me go back to the other example that I've been doing, because that's what you're going to be doing. If you go to the example that I've just shown you here of recruitment procedures and employee activity, here we have said in my example that the independent variable is recruitment procedures, and the dependent variable is employee productivity. Okay, I've said the intervening variable is task allocation. The moderating variable is company policies, procedures. Then the extraneous variable or background variable is nature of work. So these two recruitment procedures and productivity, I've got them from answers to my 5 questions in productivity. Now, my topic will be a combination of the independent variable and independent variable, and that's how we get the topic. So my topic here, therefore, will be the independent variable, which is recruitment procedures, and then the dependent variable, which is employee productivity. So I put it here. Employee productivity. So these two, I join them with the word and. So this is my topic. Recruitment procedures and employee productivity. That is my topic. It is got from my variables, the independent variable and the dependent variable. And where did I get those variables from? From the problem statement. Where did I get the problem statement from? From answering these 5 questions. So that's where I came from to state. So when you go to our Mwele page, there's a lot to read. These are well explained. Okay, I read about hypotheses. Okay, so all the notes are well explained, but those are things I wanted to emphasize. And also, the other thing that you can read about very seriously are objectives. How do you set objectives? So when you come to read this, the preparatory research here, all those are explained very well, including examples. So you find examples there well explained, How do you state a variable? How do you state a variable? How do you state a research problem? How do you state objectives? How do you state hypotheses? How do you state research questions? And you have seen that a topic comes from variables. Now, many people, contrary to what the truth is, tend to state the topic first. Russia, we are saying that as researchers, begin with a research problem and then come up with a topic and also a variable. So we answer those 5 questions, and then we are able to come up with a good, well-set study, which has well-planned objectives and well-planned and well-identified variables. And every time you're answering those questions, when you're answering those questions, make sure that you have evidence that I'm saying customer care in such a place is poor. I'm getting this from such and such a source. The reason why you must always have evidence for the such problem is so that when you go to collect data eventually, you don't find that what you thought was the problem actually is not a problem. So you must identify a real problem so that when you go to collect data, you can get real data about the problem. Okay, so I request you to clearly write your research problems. And also I'm requesting you to join this meeting using your names, although it is over, the meeting is now over, but it's good to join with your real names so that we have a good class. Okay, so I think now I am ready to receive some few questions from you before I close and before you can complete this week's tasks. So anyone who has a question? Oh, the hands. Okay, Kembabazi.
Okay, thank you, sir. My concern is about activity 2.1. It shows that it is an individual work, but you were like the research problem should be for the whole group. Is it? Should we do one research problem?
Oh, okay, so this is what you're going to do. The nature of those activities are like this. You're going to be doing 2 things parallel. You're going to have your own as an individual so that you can learn. And then the group will also have a general one where now you will discuss and agree. So as the activity says, you as a person come up with yours. Then also the whole group comes up with one. And you can agree. You can agree that if there is one that is very good by one member, you can front it as the one also for the group. And you're going to work with that same problem up to the last topic in research. So whatever you're going to decide now, you're going to continue like that up to the last topic in research. So every topic I'm going to be telling you, go back to as an individual, do this in your problem, then go for the group, do this. But you'll be free to change. Along the way, if you find that one of the problem you chose for the group is not that good, the group can change. Okay, I don't know that I've been clear.
Yeah, you're clear. So that person who will open the discussion forum will again do the summary for us all.
The what?
That person who will open the discussion forum after her putting the work, she will have to come back and do the summary like for all us.
After putting which group? The one in the work for the individual or the work for the group?
For the individual.
That is yours. Individual, that is yours. But if the group chooses that we're going to take Kimbabazi's problem, you post that problem to now where the group is discussing the group work, the group now. Because those activities have forums where you put them. It's what you as an individual you put yours. There's also where the group says activity, team with this activity, and that is where maybe the team's activity, the team's research problem is. So you post it there, then the group starts discussing it there. You don't just put it there. Why that one's called a discussion forum for the group is that there must be discussions. Someone proposes something, others contribute to what the person has proposed. That's why it's a forum.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening, Doctor. Doctor, I would like to inquire about evidence.
Yes.
Where should we find this evidence from? Should we get it from the newspapers, or we should use the books that you recommended us to use?
Those are the textbooks. They have notes. They don't have evidence. For example, if you say that service provision in a centenary bank maybe is long queues or long lines, that evidence it is in the real place. So evidence is got from the place where the problem is. Have you understood me, Nangonzo?
Yes, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, the problems that you're going to talk about are real existing problems. They're not imaginary. They're things that you're going to see, and then you're going to write about them. That's the nature of research. They're not imaginary things that you're going to imagine something in your head, like I've imagined here, recruitment, what. No. You're going to identify a real problem in your area of specialization. And you mentioned for me, where have you seen this? Is it in microfinance?
What are they saying?
Where have you seen it? Okay, so let's continue. There's another hand here. Kembabazi, I don't know, it's just spoken.
Yes, good evening, Doctor, and everyone.
You're called Kembabazi. Kembabazi. Okay, I know Mugisha.
Yes, thank you, sir. Are you getting me?
Very clearly.
Okay, thank you. I have like 3 questions. The first one is, I was doing my work. When I reached on the conceptual framework, I couldn't manage to put that table on Mwele. So I don't know how to upload that table. Then another thing,
Kembabazi.
Natasha.
It's next to me.
Natasha, yes?
Let me answer one by one. Okay. That conceptual framework.
Yes.
You can save it. You can save it as an image. The way you save a photo.
Okay.
Yes. So after saving it like a photo.
Yes.
You go where you want to put it. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Here.
Okay.
The system. Okay. Like when you're typing. Have you ever? Wait. It is still loading. Have you ever seen this typing area of Mwele here where you type?
Where you type. Yeah. Yes.
The icon is here. You see them?
Yes, I'm seeing them.
This icon here. This is the third last one here. The third last one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Says insert image.
Okay.
Yeah, insert image. Find an upload an image. That's why you click. Find an upload an image to bring you here in the screen. Then on this screen, let it load. You click on browse. When you click on browse,
nice.
It will take you to your computer. Then you choose the image, where the image is.
Oh.
And then you upload it. So when you upload that image, the way you uploading exams, when you upload that image, it will come and it will sit in that place where you want it to be. Whether in the middle of the words, it will sit there.
Yes.
That's what you do.
Okay, thank you. Then another question. I forgot in the second. The third. Where you said it in our areas, in our specific areas. Did you mean our options like acting, marketing, and finance, or the areas we are going to?
No, I meant areas of specialization like accounting, finance, human resource, marketing. That's why I say when you're forming groups, form them according to your areas of specialization.